Just how is innovation shaping the world around us? We're going to find out right here on DXB Today.
Hello and welcome to the show, and it's been quite the 3 days. 3 days of amazing conversations and ideas, all up at the World Government Summit right here in Dubai. The conference has just concluded, but it's left us with an exciting glimpse of what to expect from the future.
That's right. Everything from how education is preparing a new generation of entrepreneurs to the digital innovations that are changing the world.
And today we are highlighting all the ways that technology is changing how we work and how we live. Gentlemen, what were some of the exciting developments that you guys picked up on over the last few days?
So many to choose from, because I think it was the most diverse summit I've seen in quite some time. Diverse in terms of subject matter. I mean, literally every single angle was looked at. And it's great to be talking about tech today, because that seemed to be one of the glues that brought together a lot of the conversations. And it was exciting. It was really exciting just to see the number of delegates, the standard of delegates, the excitement and the optimism really being generated on the floor.
It was great.
Yeah.
I was down there the other day and I was so excited by just the buzz of it all. I love being on the media wall. It was very exciting getting hold of everybody.
You get to see everybody, actually, from state heads, ministers, tech people. Everyone was walking around. It was nice to stop and talk to some of them and connect and just to know more and learn more from all the forums that they've been having.
And one of the things that I really noticed was whoever you spoke to, whether it be an innovator, a tech guru, a leader of a nation, everyone was talking their mind, which was nice. Quite often at these sort of things, you know, you say the things you're meant to say, etc. But here, everyone was very open, and that is what these summits are all about, trying to come up with ideas and policies that can help the world moving forward.
Another great World Government Summit.
We're not doing this alone tonight, that's for sure. Our guest co-host is driving innovation in the fintech area here in the Middle East. He's seen exactly how technology can change industries fundamentally. So, time now to meet our guest co-host today.
Hi, my name is Gaurav Dhar. I'm the CEO of Marshall Fintech Partners, and I'm excited to be your co-host for today.
Yeah, looking forward to that, catching up a little later on. There's been a great deal of emphasis on sustainable living at the summit. And well, let's find out a bit more about that now, because our reporter, Faris Al-Rachad, he's had his work cut out, hasn't he? Got a chance to talk with the CEO of an agri-tech company that is basically reimagining how we grow food in the future. Have a little look.
We are here at the World Government Summit, and I have the pleasure to meet and speak to the co-founder and CEO of Aero Farms, Mr. David Rosenberg. Thank you so much for being on DXB today.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure to be here.
So Aero Farms is a unique concept, it's an incredible concept of vertical farming. Can you tell us a little bit more about what your company does?
Well, we've been doing this since 2011. Vertical farming we define as level upon level of growing. We grow using LEDs, light emitting diodes, and zero soil. So plants don't need soil, they need nutrients and micronutrients, which we put in. It's an automated system called a fertigator. We put in set increments, nitrogen, magnesium, zinc, iron, whatever would be in the soil or the fertilizers we put in through an aeroponic system. Aeroponic roots want oxygen, leaves want carbon dioxide. So we put in supplemental CO2 and we oxygenate the roots. Coupled with the LEDs, we get the perfect environment for plants 365 days a year. Whether it's on the equator or the North Pole, we could mimic the environment the plants want, so they have great quality and zero pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, about 50 feet high, level upon level, on average 14 levels high per square meter.
Incredible. So tell us a little bit, because obviously you're here at the World Government Summit 2023 in the UAE. Tell us about some of the work you've been doing in the United Arab Emirates.
First, I'll say what's exciting for an entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and as a tech leader, pioneer, we want to go where there are early adopters, and the mentality here in the region is very much early adoption. So there's a boldness to embrace new technology, be first in a lot of ways. That's exciting for an innovator. In the UAE, one of our investors is Dubai Holdings, and we've just built the R&D facility in Abu Dhabi, and we have cutting edge partnerships in technology. For example, Nokia Bell Labs in an imaging system, working there on the ag side. We're working with BASF. We're working with Cargill. We're growing cocoa plants with Cargill here in Abu Dhabi, and we're also hiring locally. I'm proud of our, let's say, 15 people team. It's going to be 60 in not too long. We have 6 engineers, of which 3 of them are female. In the US, it's hard to get female engineers. Here, 50% of our engineers are female. So we're really excited about hiring local.
And we're really excited about the whole project. It sounds amazing. It sounds like it could be the future of agriculture. Thank you so much, David Rosenberg.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great to be here.
Absolutely fascinating. I mean, just the future of that is, crazy when you think about it. Love it. Thank you very much, Faris, for that. Right, there is a lot of conversation around early adoption of technologies and research and development. Bringing in Gaurav, our guest co-host for today. I guess, first of all, tell us a little bit more about what it is that you actually do, Gaurav.
So I'm the CEO of Marshall Fintech Partners, and we provide payment technology to a lot of the banks in the region. Okay. So wherever you use your credit card, essentially, we do all that payment infrastructure in about 15 countries in the region. So that's my day job. That's what I wear my hat on a daily basis. But actually, another passion that I have is working with founders and innovators and entrepreneurs. So I've invested in about 500 companies globally. Wow. So I've seen them at different stages of technology and innovation across fintech to medtech to even technology like AR, VR, technology on a contact lens. So it's a very exciting time to be alive, and I'm very privileged to be a part of all these scenarios.
Are we a nation of early adopters here? I know that you work predominantly in the banking, but you've seen founders and CEOs from other sectors. Do we have a natural prolificity to early adoption here, do you think?
It's a really interesting viewpoint, because actually, when you think about the UAE, we are a hub, and we are an early adopter on the consumer side. On the business side, I think we're a second trend adopter from a watch and wait perspective on macro trends. Yeah. But that's not a bad thing, because the UAE as a hub likes to protect consumers and businesses, but also play host to them around the region. So in certain elements, it works very well from a business perspective and a consumer perspective. But we like the new trends.
We'll talk about this a bit more in a bit. Healthcare has also been a focus at the summit. Our next guest is the health tech founder here to tell us more about the recent innovations in healthcare. Please welcome Sophie Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell us more about the holistic hybrid healthcare for women?
Yeah, so we actually coined the term hybrid healthcare back in 2018. We are a bi-MENA, for-MENA headquartered in the UAE company, and we started to develop a novel model of healthcare pre-COVID back, and I don't know if anyone can remember back that far, when people were skeptical that telehealth would be adopted. Yeah. And what we define as hybrid healthcare is combining digital and traditional care along clinical pathways to improve health outcomes for women associated with specific diseases. Okay. The idea of the model is that it can plug and play with established healthcare ecosystems, because in healthcare you obviously have a lot of incumbents, and the only way that you ever achieve mass adoption of any novel innovation is healthcare is if doctors understand it and the people who are paying for it think that it adds value. So either reduces, for insurance providers, for example, the cost or number of claims; for the government, enhances population health, reduces wait times, etc. So we have built a model that is understandable because it follows these clinical pathways for the established healthcare systems.
As a woman founder, essentially, in this region, how do you feel the response has been for people as a reception to you from an investor point of view or from a technology point of view?
So that is a complicated question.
That's
a question with a potentially complicated answer. I think we sit in a space that has been a little bit challenging for the ecosystem in general to understand. There hasn't been a substantial amount of investment to date in technology companies that have a huge amount of research and development behind them. This is a massive area of opportunity and also growth for the UAE in the coming decade. So, we said we're going to be in R&D for a while, 4 or 5 years. So we're just going to be building, we're not going to be making money. We said we're going to be female focused, so we're a women's healthcare company, building specifically to address unmet needs in women's health. And I'm a solo female founder, And this is my 4th baby since I founded NABTA. So, I haven't raised a funding round without being either heavily pregnant or newly postpartum. Wow. And that also poses, I guess, its own challenges in terms of perception. So to date, we're actually entirely backed by angel investors. We have 45 angel investors in total.
Wow.
With tickets ranging, and we set up a special purpose vehicle so we could take very small tickets, but with tickets ranging from $1 to $625,000. And I tell you, you have to work as hard for $1,000 as you do for $100,000. So we've had to be a little bit inventive, sitting in this sort of, these cross segments of perhaps not the trendiest areas from an investment perspective with how we raise capital. But I think we've done a lot to build the ecosystem around us. And now there's a lot of interest in femtech, so in women's health technologies, and in the space that we're building in.
Just on that point, and just to go to the point we're meant to go over, about early adoption as well. I mean, you've set up the business, a successful business here in the GCC. Could you have done it anywhere else in the world, or is this unique at the moment?
So I think the GCC has a unique opportunity. In terms of its proximity to emerging markets, in terms of its desire and ability to really adopt and lead in terms of innovation. Our long-term vision is to address some of the systemic gender and racial biases that exist in healthcare. And you're never going to do that if you're building the company in places where the populations are the minority.
Yeah.
So, 92% of clinical trials occur in the US and Europe. The remaining 8% mostly occur in the Far East. Only 19% of clinical trial participants are female. A tiny percentage of those are of Middle Eastern, African and South Asian origin.
Right.
And that's because the trials have to be demographically representative. So you want to build a company that really changes that builds new data sets for these populations. You have to be headquartered here.
It was
Quite
great.
right. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Listen, we are going to go to a break. Healthcare ain't the only industry that is being, revolutionised by tech at the moment. In fact, we're going to be finding out more after the break. We're going to be talking to the co-founder of Waze, Cyril Levine. He's been here for the World Government Summit, as has, class and creativity with a certain Idris Elba. I wouldn't go anywhere if I was you.
Welcome back to DXB Today. Now, the World Government Summit has had a successful run in Dubai. It's just wrapped up 3 days. That's what we're discussing today. Gaurav, what do you think some of the sort of key takeaways have been for businesses mainly over the last 3 days?
I think it's very firm that the position of the UAE in, as we were talking about earlier, being an early adopter, but also an early nurturer of technology ideas. When you're looking at metaverse, you're looking at other aspects of technology that the rest of the world is still trying to understand how to regulate or set up frameworks for. The UAE is very welcoming in allowing those people the first foothold before understanding where else they can do business. And that's great for the region, not just the UAE. So leading the way and giving confidence in all the new technology and innovation that can possibly be.
I love that. I love nurturing.
It is. Yeah.
Good at that.
Listen, you heard it from Tom Urquhart first. Technology is the way forward. That's not the only person you've heard it from as well. In fact, we had Cyril Levine, co-founder of the world's largest community-based navigation app. You might have heard of it. It's called Waze. Was part of a dialogue on the future of government services. In fact, our very own Lua Al-Tubi got a chance to sit down and chat with him.
It's all going down here at the World Government Summit, and I am joined by one of the co-founders of one of the first global unicorns. Waze was sold to Google in 2013, almost 10 years ago now, for a $1 billion evaluation, over a $1 billion evaluation. So, Mr. Yuri, tell me, what have you been up to since then?
So I left Waze the day after the acquisition, so I can build more startups, and I've built dozens of startups since then. Another unicorn that is Movit, that is Waze for public transportation, that was actually sold to Intel in 2020. Okay. And many others, and each one of them is trying to solve a single problem. Each one of them is trying to create value on its own path, and doing good and doing well.
So you've mentioned two words that like pique my interest immediately. One is problem solving and two is value. Would that be your advice to entrepreneurs for find a solution, find an issue where you can solve a problem and create value?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, what entrepreneurs are trying to do is actually create value, change the world by creating value. The simplest way to create value is actually solve a problem. If you solve a problem, it's guaranteed that you're creating value.
So you are one of the biggest success stories when it comes to startups. What other advice would you give budding entrepreneurs?
So essentially, fall in love with the problem and not the solution is going to be the first one, and then fail fast. Because at the end of the day, building a startup is a journey of failure. So you try multiple things until you find one thing that does work. When you fail fast, you actually have enough time to try something else, to make another attempt, to try a different version, to try a different approach. And so you increase your likelihood of being successful. So fall in love with the problem, fail fast, and at the end of the day, listen to users.
Absolutely. So how have you found the World Government Summit so far? Has it given you more answers or more problems?
End of the day, the bad news is that we have a lot of problems, and the good news is that we have a lot of problems, right? So a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely, a lot of opportunities indeed. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Levine.
Yeah, note to self. That duo wasn't sitting down with Yuri, they were standing up. But it was all the same, It's a tech summit after all. Listen, I think we also need to add the word author to his list of titles. He's recently written a handbook for entrepreneurs. Fall in love with the problem, not the solution. You might have seen it on his top there.
Well, our next guest takes things from the physical to the digital. He's a meta expert and he's here to tell us more about the future of Web3. Please welcome Sam Huber, the CEO of LandVault. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Just a quick question. Do you think governments are going to adopt the metaverse and working on it, for example, meetings and meta in general? Or do you think it's going to be too pricey and very expensive?
No, I think what we're starting to see now is the technology to build content, to distribute it, and to even monetize it is coming down. Mm-hmm. There's more and more platforms, more and more technology, which includes what we are building at LandVault. Yeah. And so this is reducing the barriers to entry for anyone to enter. So for governments, for big brands, for big companies, it's a no-brainer that this is going to be a new platform for them to reach their citizens.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about LandVault, please?
So LandVault is a construction company, but in the virtual world.
Yeah.
So we have about 160 people now, full-time, that are basically designers, game developers, artists, architects, that are building virtual content. So it could be to replicate a physical event, but in the virtual world. Mm-hmm. Or it could be for a brand to create a virtual shop, for a building to replicate itself in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. And we create those amazing environments that people can enjoy and consume, and which they can either shop, they can discover, they can play, and they can perform all kinds of activities in the virtual world.
Wowzers.
I think, when you're looking at the metaverse and you're looking at building infrastructure that already exists, it doesn't leave very much to the imagination. Yeah. I mean, let me ask you one thing. There are two types of projects you've got, because you could build anything. Mm-hmm. The digital metaverse is your canvas and somebody else's canvas. Building two things. Building the Burj Khalifa, probably very exciting. What are you seeing that's being built that doesn't exist, that's exciting for you or for perhaps consumers or people to walk through today? Are you building anything that you can share with us about that?
Yeah, I think, as you said, there's two types. The digital twins, which is about replicating something that already exists, but then pushing things further and actually leveraging the digital worlds. And the fact that there's no gravity, there's no limitations, you can do things that you can't do anywhere else. So the idea is really to think about what could benefit the customers, what could create a better user experience for people, whether it's for them to shop or discover environments. You can really think about, without limitations and build things that do not exist in the real world.
We had an announcement this morning, in fact. Majid Al Futtaim announcing
Mall of the Metaverse.
There's one for you,
yeah, I know. But I'm very confused by the whole thing. I do all of my shopping online. I don't like to physically go to a mall. But, that's a big announcement. But what does it mean? Why would I go shopping in the mall of the metaverse?
I think there's a kind of a misconception that the metaverse will replace the internet. Yeah. I think for me, it's just a matter of extending it. There are things that you do on the internet, like a bank transfer to a friend, for example, that is very well working in 2 dimensions. You do not need to go in the metaverse for that. But there's a lot of things that we also do, such as looking at your next holidays, or buying
shopping for
an
clothes,
expensive car,
right?
that are more experiential, that would actually benefit from a 3D experience, because you could try the clothes on your avatar that looks like you before making the purchase, for example, or you could actually experience what this island would look like in VR before you actually book your trip. I think so. That experiential element is actually what is key, and what the metaverse will do better
I'm sorry,
than
guys, I've got
internet.
to go. I'm off to the mall of the metaverse.
Plug in, you'll be fine.
Straight away, you're ready.
Mall of the metaverse. My credit card.
We'll give you
is
some
gonna need
goggles.
some
You sit over there, you'll be fine.
Gaurav, can you sort out my credit card, please?
I'm on it. But another project which sounds super interesting besides shopping is looking at the line, and you're looking at neon, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a project that's going to take a very long time to build out, and I think seeing it in the metaverse before you actually can go there is going to be an interesting experience. That's to be something.
Seeing it before, but also just creating a digital version of that experience, so that even if you're not there, you can actually experience it. You can understand how things work and how people actually interact. So we really see the metaverse as a three-dimensional version of the internet.
Last question. Lanville, obviously recognised as largest real estate company in the metaverse. Dubai making a play, being a bit of a hub for the metaverse as well. Lanville, Dubai connection?
Well, that's why I'm here. The company was actually set up in the UK. We have offices in the US and in Singapore as well. But we recognize that for the last 6 months, the UAE has been the fastest growing market for us. There's just a lot of excitement, lots of appetite, and a very clear direction from the government to make this the Silicon Valley of the metaverse, as I like to say.
Have you opened offices here?
We have open offices here. I'm here.
Physical?
Or? Yes, absolutely. yeah, physical and in the metaverse.
And in the metaverse as well. Looking forward to it. It's exciting times for us all. Sam, bless you. Thanks so much indeed for coming on in to join us here on DXB today.
Thank you.
And Gaurav, thank you to you as well.
Pleasure.
For coming on in.
Always.
And adding some real flavour to proceedings here this evening as well. Thanks so much indeed.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you both. Right, well, there you go. That's the future decoded for you right here on DXB Today.
They did it.
They did it, not us. Don't go anywhere. When we head back, we are going to hear from actor Idris Elba and producer Jeffrey Katzenberg. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the show, and the World Government Summit closing a little earlier on today, leaving us hopeful, well, very hopeful for the future. And imagination and creativity is definitely going to be a large part of it.
Absolutely. Now, UN Goodwill Ambassador Idris Elba and world-renowned film producer Jeffrey Katzenberg had an incredible session yesterday, talking all about storytelling and its ability to bring people together. Dina Butty tells us more.
How can a captivating narrative impact us beyond entertainment? Well, I'm about to find out here at the World Government Summit, where hundreds of visitors are flocking in to attend a session called The Craft of Storytelling, hosted by world-renowned filmmaker Jeffrey Katzenberg, as well as Hollywood actor and UN Goodwill Ambassador Idris Elba.
So the power of movies and storytelling is more than just entertainment. It's more than good business. It actually can celebrate the cultures of your country, the values of your country. In their success, they are ambassadors that go out to the rest of the world and celebrate all of the things that are wonderful about each of your countries. So to look at this as through the lens of, it's not just good business, it's actually great business, which it is.
It is. It also unlocks many countries with a high youthful population face unemployment in record-breaking numbers. And the creative arts sector offers so many types of jobs. I think people misconstrued creative arts as only creative. But you can be in tech, you can be in health, you can be in fitness, you can be in policy inside the one industry. It's like one of these industries that has many tentacles that can, offer young people, especially those who want to tell their story, they want to be seen, the creative industry has so many opportunities to sort of offer employment opportunities for a country. That's why I think government should look at policy. Also, not to mention, you know, Dubai is an incredible story. It's an incredible tourism story, but the power of the media, the power of them, the narrative of this is Dubai, come and check it out, has been the one that's like incredible. I think Dubai should win an Oscar because the movie is incredible. I'm serious. It's a very, very good job and other countries should take note.
A fascinating conversation on why crafting stories can be one of the most powerful ways that we craft the future of our nation. With a definite highlight being Idris and Jeffrey agreeing that the story behind the making of Dubai deserves itself an Oscar.
That's amazing. Dubai should win an Oscar because the movie is incredible. What a statement. That's a wrap from us. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's been an incredible 3 days with the World Government Summit and everything that we've been covering. Thank you for both of you.
What for?
For being with us.
Yeah. What's happening?
Is this an Oscar acceptance speech?
Yes,
going on?
I was trying.
I'm not sending you
Just
out
won the
to
Oscar.
If you are out and about in Dubai, do not forget to keep tagging us, right? Hashtag DXB Today. We want to see what you're up to, and we might just feature you on the show.
Right, we are. What day is it? It's Wednesday today. Tomorrow's a thriving Thursday. Make sure the episode covering entrepreneurs, businesses, data, AI, STEP conference, we're all happening right here in Dubai. Right, from the Oscar ceremony down here.
Yes, the acceptance speech.
That's it tonight. Thanks so much indeed. It's good night from him, from her, from all of us.
All of us.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Good night.